Well, hello everybody. I hate to do another live, but as I did the last live, going through real history, reality for all Canadians and all First Peoples, Candice Bergen, interim leader of CPC, goes live with a very unreal and disturbing amount of fiction. In fact, a complete lie. Sponsored by state media CBC, all public comments turned off. You can't even post the truth. Let me tell you, folks, that you can all look up right now. 1966 Barbados, Canadians, First Peoples. If you don't know what's going on in Barbados, but my good friend Susan, who's now president of Barbados, let me go through that for you today, and the gross lie by Candice Bergen, CPC, with her state-sponsored media, CBC, that's also attached to Liberals and NDP. Now, the lie is not that Liberals and NDP are forming a coalition. The lie is that Russia, it's all for Russia, Russian dominance. I think not, folks. Let's go back in time to what is that you can all look up right now. You can go Google it. You can go read the history, not provided to you in any real education. See, you're either filthy third-class working Canadians, or worse, you're the inhuman treaty Indian, Métis or Inuit. Either way, you're not in the design that is Canada. Canada's not for you. None of you are in the Constitutional Act of Canada, 1867. Why I go to Barbados? Because my friend Susan is the president of Barbados right now. They're in constitutional conventions, rewriting the entirety of Barbados into a democratic republic. Democratic republic. Canada, you are not. You are a parliamentary system in a constitutional monarchy where you give all of your international relations, international law, to the royal family. Barbados is still there right now. They're working their way out of it. I'm going to be the first Canadian to read that constitutional draft before it's signed and built. I'm one of those Canadians who's going to get the first sample. In 1966, Grantley Adams was the Prime Minister of Barbados. He was with the Barbados Labour Party. He had a minority government. He has the exact weight of 1966 as Justin Trudeau does today in popular vote, meaning a minority government. He joined forces with the Liberal Labour Party of Barbados, the other half of the equation, to cement his majority. Identical, folks. History by history. All the same parties in Barbados now are the same parties are in Canada. They were the same parties of South Africa, the same parties of UK, the same parties of Australia, the same parties of New Zealand, and every other British Commonwealth country attached to the Commonwealth Charter of 2012. Guess how much trading is done with Russia through value and supply chains? Sweet diddly nothing. So I'm going to ask everybody, why is state media, CBC, interim leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, lying about the truth? Well, folks, just like Barbados, Jamaica, all the Caribbean islands in the Commonwealth, and every other Commonwealth country, there are 54 of them today, folks, they all give their international relations and political designs, meaning picking up the crown and putting it on their head against all of you, because that's the design of the system inherited from the British Empire. The royal family, not Vladimir Putin, not Joe Biden, not Xi Jinping, but the British royal family. Go look at the banking institution, the Bank of England. This design, this scam on all Canadians is done by all the federal parties over and over and over again. There are markers throughout the Commonwealth where the British royal family instituted and implemented this exact coalition many, many times. It has zero to do with Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is dead against this system, as is the United States of America. Barbados is a republic today. My friend Susan, who is a lawyer who ran for Governor General of Barbados, got it and transformed Barbados into a republic, and they are in constitutional conventions right now for we the people of Barbados, because they're done with the crown. Now, I don't know how far they're going to go. They have food scarcity. They've had their agriculture eroded by the British Empire. Again, folks, not Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has zero trade relationship with Barbados. It is all through the Crown and the Bank of England, just like Canada. See, Canadians, you gave away your energy independence by request of the royal family. You're giving away your agricultural independence to the royal family. You grow what you're told to grow. You don't grow for the needs of Canadians. Food, clothing, shelter, and energy, regardless of what people tell you, energy is all of those things, should be on the list. All of those which are most important to your welfare of the people are all deeply controlled by the royal family. You can read all of this in the Commonwealth Charter 2012, where the British Empire, through the royal family, re-cements its stranglehold on all the Commonwealth countries. It's why we're seeing what we're seeing today. This liberal NDP playbook has been played out many, many times throughout the Commonwealth. This exact match of Justin Trudeau is found in 1966 Barbados. It's in Trudeau's playbook because Daddy Pierre Elliott Trudeau and his involvement with Cuba and the other islands got it there. It's written in the liberal agenda provided by the royal family, not Vladimir Putin. I can promise you, nothing of CPC, Liberals, Conservative, People's Party of Canada, Bloc, Green, and the list goes on and on. There's 14 federal parties, including the Communist Party of Canada, which, folks, is a divine Commonwealth design. It's all fake, folks. It's all for the royal family. Go read the 2012 Commonwealth Charter. All those subscribing to the end of the world, the Mayan calendar, the Aztec that's long gone, only the Utes, 1200 remain today. I know, I've already been in contact with them through the Reagan Foundation. There's 1,200 left alive in the world, from millions to 1,200. The only ones that remain are the Utes in southern United States. That's all there is. They have the whole history if you want to know the whole truth. But maybe because they're American Indians, no one wants to pay attention, I guess. But the Reagan Foundation does. Richard Nixon paid attention. You'll find which Christian value groups fought against this in American history, in other republic histories against the Commonwealth. Candace Bergen is a liar. Zelensky just got his ass handed to him in Israel, folks. Just got cast out, tried to pull the old Holocaust maneuver. As an actor, he tried to trick the Israelis. But the Israelis know their history. They educate their children, unlike anywhere else in the world. They make sure that the truth of the Holocaust, the willing participants, are highlighted and always known by every generation. Canadians, you were to have all this education. It's enclosed in the Charter of the UN 1945, but Canada quickly moved away from that right after they took away all independence of the Supreme Court of Canada. 1952, King George VI died. Canadian politicians, conservative and liberal, later comes the Labour Party, all crafted by the Commonwealth. It's a way to keep the third class and the slaves and savages at bay. Get them to pay for their own, get them turned against each other, divide and conquer. That is the class structure way. Make democracy too expensive for the lower class, the savage Indians or savage groups of people that are always picked on, and it's a staple of the Commonwealth. It always has been. They're very good at it, folks. They've been at it for many decades. There is a silent war against Russia and USA today. It's been going on. The whole Cold War can be attributed to the royal family in all of the Commonwealth countries. Agenda 2021, Agenda 2030, and many others are crafted by those 54 nation heads of the Commonwealth. I couldn't make any of this up if my life depended on it. But I catch these conspiracy extremists all the time, including your own politicians. They hijack you, they get you going in narrative. Everything but what's right in front of you. The Commonwealth. That's the common theme. The common rape, pillage, and plunder of the people. It always has been. 950 years of history, and still people don't learn. Swear your oath of allegiance to the divinity of a human being. When you give godlike power to a human being, you've ruined your whole society. You've ruined your children's future. You're sick, depraved, you're institutionalized. This video's got to go out. People got to share it. I can keep on my soapbox, keep telling the truth, but if it doesn't get shared out, who suffers? Well, all the generations of the future. Canadians suffer. The world suffers. The strife we see in the world today is a product of the Commonwealth. It's all about inequality. It's all about racism. It's all about division. It's all about transferring wealth from the working people to a wealthy elite who are in divine socialism and divine capitalism. What does that mean? It means they get all the benefits of socialism, meaning all your money. Well, you get all the negatives of capitalism. You never get to truly enjoy capitalism because the deck is stacked. It's stacked so that the benefits of capitalism go to your divine ruling politicians. Church over state, state over church. State is church. They think they are gods among men and women. There's no racism in the first class. You just have to be sworn to it. You just have to be prepared to kill your own people. You're evil because you're God. I'm going to tell everybody again, Christmas Eve this year, Queen Elizabeth's address was Jesus was just a man. Because she's Lord, Excellency, Worship, Majesty. She's heard that her whole life. She's 95 years old. The whole family has. It's a staple of all governments of constitutional monarchies of the Commonwealth. They call it honorary titles. I'm going to say it again, folks. When they say the Honorable Candace Bergen, she calls herself honorable, do you know what's said behind closed doors? Your worship. Candace Bergen's a Privy Council. She's a lord, she's a worship. How many times has Candace Bergen heard that in her career? How many weeks does it take before she believes she's a god? Because she never talks out of the Commonwealth. It's always some radical agenda. It's either, oh, the United States, or oh, Russia, or oh, but never the truth of the royal family, what Canada is and what we perpetuate. It's been rinse and repeat all over the world, guys. Barbados, 1966. I couldn't make this up if my life depended on it. He had the exact same voting share as Justin Trudeau just had. He made a deal with the Labour Party, the other Labour Liberal Party, which is Liberals. They have variations, but they're all the same party system because they're all the same design of the Commonwealth. It's rinsed and repeat all over. Look at Australia. Look at New Zealand. We can go on and on and on. There's 54 nations. Get used to it, folks. It's all the same. It's all a lie. They all have state-sponsored media. It's all tied back to the Church of England. National Post, Financial Post. You'll find all these same structural design medias all over these countries. Exact same system. Where does it come from? Well, it's the royal family. They're very good at it. They've been very good at hiding from the UN Security Council. They definitely don't want Russia tipped off. They don't want USA tipped off. They don't want China tipped off. What they want is those three countries fighting each other to death. That's what they want. So they can pick up all the pieces and get back to class structure, their staple, where human beings don't matter, and the greatest atrocities ever committed were by those colonial nations. They have no business in the UN. They're outlawed. They promised it was gone. King George tried to end it. He died before he could complete Canada. And unfortunately, for a vast majority, 54 states in the UN, which is 27% of the countries, it's 30% near of the world's population. That's a hell of a powerful field in the earth today. Always has been. Racism's never going anywhere. Atrocities are never going anywhere. Class structure's never going anywhere. Division, inequality's never going anywhere because we have the Commonwealth. Canadians think they're prosperous. You have the highest housing market in the world. I guess for some it's great, but where do you move to? I guess you got to leave the country, right? What about the children of tomorrow? Because there's no house for them. There's only Hong Kong-style Coffin City, like I said before. Who's got the worst living conditions in the world? What's Hong Kong? Well, who created that? Well, that's Britain. Well, why did that happen? Well, look at the opium wars. Why is there an opioid crisis in the world? Why are there drug crises? Oh, yeah, that's created by Britain, too. That is absolutely created by the royal family. If you haven't read Opium Wars 1 and 2, it sounds like a science fiction, way out of touch with reality, science fiction movie of a dystopian future. But guess what? That was reality. But us in the Commonwealth, we don't hear nothing about it. Hollywood doesn't look at that because that doesn't fit the narrative of class structure and the crown and something that's definitely eroded the Democrats, always has been. Racism, slavery, that's a staple of the Democrats. Somehow they've thrown it on Republicans. They've been able to fool Americans against their own constitution and reality and history into what isn't. Just like the American Indian, all their settlements, all their tremendous sovereignty, self-government, and settlement of the claims, came from the Republicans, but it's overshadowed by Watergate. So everybody forgets. Oh, don't talk about it. You never hear American Indians getting upset anymore. Well, they're doing pretty well for the most part, depending on which government gets in there. But for the most part, they're doing tremendously well. In fact, doing tremendously better than all Canadians. First Peoples, meaning the Treaty Indians, ceded, unceded, Métis and Inuit, combined. There's more private property for the American Indian, more wealth and rights to the resources than all of us put together. They're nearly 6, almost 7 times less in population than all Canadians, all Canadian First Peoples, Treaty Indian, ceded, unceded, Métis and Inuit combined, with 135% more property. Plus, they collect their own taxes, create their own leases. They can lease land. It's theirs. It's never going anywhere. They make the money, just like the American government, a nation within a nation. They're very happy, a lot more happier considering the history. The best deal they could ever got, they got from America, the American government. They certainly didn't get that from Britain, France, Spain, Portugal. You will find rape, murder, atrocity committed. Mass amounts throughout the history of all of the colonial powers, including to Americans themselves. Americans have forgotten themselves. Right now, Joe Biden, the president, goes forward, suckling on the royal family, wants to recreate a new United Nations, a League of Nations of old. I can promise you in the time of League of Nations, child rape, sex trafficking was perfectly legal if it wasn't a European white designation. Any other race, no problem. They're not human beings anyway. The color of your skin dictated your status. If you weren't white, you weren't right. That is the reality of what the world was before the United Nations Security Council, led by USA, Russia, and China. But USA and Russia for sure, the powerhouses. Royal family, France and UK were decimated by another colonial called Germany. You all know that story. But what you don't know is all the colonials did exactly what Germany did. They did it first. They did it just as loud. It's the fact that Germany said, we like colonialism so much, we're going to follow and take away from other colonials. Well, the world didn't want that. But it came to a head. All of our ancestors gave their lives in World War II to end it all. And the promise was never again. So I ask you, CBC and Candice Bergen, recant your testimony today. Do right by Canadians and tell it like it is. It's got fuck all to do with Vladimir Putin. You are a fucking liar. And it has everything to do with the royal family, because clear history from the entire Commonwealth sees this coalition, this play out every time. And it's all for the British royal family and the wealth of the United Kingdom through the Bank of England. Let's just chase the cash. Let's call it a day. Barbados has already said enough. We're done. We want out. The last remaining breach is the Commonwealth itself, but they want to secure supply and value chains for seeds to go through disenfranchisement. Canadians look up enfranchisement on the First Peoples of Canada all the way to the 60s. Oh yeah, that's the same period as Barbados and what they went through. Holy crap. We're just getting recycled garbage from the fucking United Kingdom, the British Empire, alive and well today. And nobody's saying nothing because we don't get a media stage, we don't get shared out. Keep quiet. The truth isn't popular to the first class. It's offensive. I've even been banned from Facebook for telling the truth because it's offensive to the first class. And Facebook has to follow what the Canadian government elite class, Justin Trudeau, says they have to do, or they're deplatformed in this country. I'll wait to see what happens to this video. I know all my videos are sketchy because the government has to watch them first, just in case they can catch me in a lie or catch me propagating something. But I promise you, folks, I am all over the world in constitutionalism. I haven't lied to anybody. I have the greatest legal minds published, accredited, all over the world, including Barbados. And Susan is a constitutionalist. She took Governor General. She did what I wish to do in Canada under the party of the Canadian Constitutionalists, PCC. It's not mythological. It's reality. If you don't believe me, just go look what Susan's doing in Barbados. She's the president of Barbados. They're in constitutional conventions. And at a point here, I'm going to be the first to get that constitution and talking about it to all of you before it's even voted on and presented. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? That's what happens when you work tremendously hard, when you work harder than everybody else and you stick with the truth night and day, and you never, ever leave your narrative behind. Residential school genocide in the first-class Canadian politicians is coming to a head this June 28th, Children's Day of Genocide and Armed Conflict. The RCMP beat, raped, arrested men, women, who refused of the first people to give up their children to said armed take away and put in residential schools where more than 3% would lose their lives. And according to the UNSC, which includes Russia, it's why right now the big narrative, kill Russia, World War III, don't let the first class go down. Candace Bergen's guilty too. Pierre Poilievre, guilty too. Stephen Harper, guilty too. Justin Trudeau, his father, massively guilty. The whole family, there's a mass amount of wealth there. Paul Martin, Jean Chrétien, the list goes on and on. Brian Mulroney and Jean Chrétien got the dirtiest hands here, folks. They're South Africa dirty hands. Complete criminals. Orchestrated. They rewrote the criminal code in 1985. They removed Canada from the ICJ in 1993. Look at Africa overlap and look at what Canada responded with. They think they're sneaky. They're a sneaky Nazi neo-nationalist system. Labour Party's corrupted, NDP's garbage, Liberals garbage, CPC's garbage, PPC's garbage, Maxime Bernier's party's garbage, Bloc's garbage, Green Party's garbage. They're all crown colonials. It's all about the illusion of democracy. It's all about class structure, first, second, and third, and the savages, which are the first people. That's the legal system. It's in writing. It's legal today. I use all the words, Indian, savage, all of it. Class, first, second, third, because that is the customary law inherited, invested in our Constitution. If you haven't read it, Canadians, read your Constitution, consolidated, 1867, 1982, including your Section B, the Charter, the very limited Charter, which clearly, for 2/3 of the 1867 Constitution, gives all the power of your first-class politicians to use it as they see fit. And then after they conclude with, we'll administer this document as we see fit, because only we are represented in the Constitution. You, the people, are the shit on our boots. You will worship us. We will be your Lord, your Eminence, your Excellency. You go to court, you learn all these things. You learn all these things. That's why you have to get a lawyer. You have to pay for justice. You have to pay to defend yourself. You have to pay for democracy. Voting isn't even free anymore. Not if you're not down with the Crown narrative. It's all been played out before, folks. Decades and decades of it. The examples are everywhere. Every day I'm going to continue to hit I did this extra video today because Candace Bergen is a lying piece of shit. Tell the truth for once in your life. Oh, I forgot. Can't even tag you. You're the Right Honorable. What does the Right Honorable mean? Worship. She is your gods. She is a god over all of you. She believes it, I'm telling you. So does Pierre Poilievre. So deeply does Justin Trudeau. Jagmeet Singh. He left India because his ideology didn't work there anymore. So he came to Canada where he'll fit in the Commonwealth. He can be a dictator of his own people, all the people, as he believes he's a superior human being. He's a god over men and women. The worst kind of person in the Labour Party. If you don't know the religious significance of a Sikh, I think all union leaders should look at that. I don't hate Sikh people. I'm just telling you there's a religious investment in the companies that is dead against what all Labour represents. I'm just saying, if we're going to talk truth, let's talk whole truth. It's cockamamie and bullshit. It's all crown, 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 crown. That is the NWO. Canada is one of the leading, highest implementers of NWO. It's always been that way since 1993, cemented and officially signed away by one Stephen Harper in 2012. Campaigned for years, slamming the crown, all of a sudden magically overnight, quietly in a small little byline, Stephen Harper signs on the Commonwealth Charter, even though he said he was never going to do that. They're all liars. They're all filling their back pocket off all of you. Monarchies are the worst form of government, even worse than communism. History will prove that is fact. Fact. They're the crafters of World War I and II. They're the crafters of the gross opium crisis we face today. Truth. Who wants any truth? That's a bad idea. I like fake history. My country's great. Let's all be liars together, right? Oh, Canada. Let's sing that one. Oh, yeah. Oh, Canada. Pretty silly. Sick, perverted, mass amounts of institutionalization. When CBC turns off comments because they don't want any communication, it's a state broadcast by the opposition leader. All well crafted. It was done in Barbados in 1966 to fool all those black N-words. Now you have Canadian N-words. We're not black, but we're the same thing. Everyone in the Commonwealth of the second, third, and slave class underneath Savage is all the N-word. That's all we all are and ever going to be as long as you remain in the Commonwealth. That's the narrative. Again, for last time, if you haven't read the Commonwealth Charter 2012, Commonwealth Charter 2012, go read it. You will find the invasion of the UN right there. The royal family is not to have anything to do with the UN, so they created the Commonwealth Charter. Every country, leader, state signed on to it. The NWO is the royal family. I'm telling you. And you will find every leader of every country in the Commonwealth financing it. Always have, always will. It's never going anywhere. Until America, Russia, and China impose their will. The world's always going to be deeply divided. People are going to be sacrificed in wars that make no sense. And people will continually get poor while the rich get richer. A staple of the Commonwealth. That's my video. Thanks, folks. Bye now. Share, or just be part of the propaganda. Be the loser of tomorrow. Sell your children short. That's what you're doing. If you don't share, you're damning your children. Thank you. Bye now.